Hello, hello. We are back. We are back. We are back. Make sure as you all are coming in, if you're coming in from Twitter X, make sure you hit that heart button. If you're coming in from YouTube, please make sure you hit that like button. And even if you're coming from Twitter, please come over to YouTube and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. If you're coming from Twitch, do whatever it is you do. If you all want to bless the channel, you can definitely send a super chat on YouTube, or you can bless my Cash App, which is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I thought I'd come in there and ask for that. All right, people, we're going to get into this week's testimony. So the prosecution has been laying out their case for the past 3 weeks. They say they have 5 weeks, so they've got this week and next week, and then we're going to get into the defense's case and their witnesses. So we're going to go over all the witnesses that they're talking about today. It's about 12:15, and you know how I hate to catch up. I hate to catch up with the thing, so I'm hoping that this is a good spot. That this is a good spot to start. Let me get my screen together. Good. A good few of you are in here. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that has been rocking with me as we read these transcripts. All right. I think I want this one. Yeah. As we read these transcripts to see what's going on. Child. Now, I do understand that the actual full-length transcripts of the trial are out. I don't know if anybody is paying for them, because I think what I heard that they're like $8.70 a page. And I don't think anybody is paying for that. And I guess as the time goes on, that it gets cheaper. But I don't see anybody paying for that, except for the lawyers. And if you're someone who has an in with any of those lawyers on that particular case, y'all let me know. Because I see some, like I said, some of the bigger bloggers are look like they are purchasing the transcripts, or they have an in with another attorney or something like that will be able to get them those transcripts. So if they are choosing to share, we definitely would get those and definitely do an autopsy of the whole case after it's completed, so we can see what's going on. All right. Let's get started. So we will be using Inner City Press, NBC, and CNN. Those will be the 3 places that we will get our information on. All right, let's get in. So there's some information that's floating around here, and I wanted to get that out there to you before we start. It says former hotel security invokes Fifth Amendment ahead of testimony later today. The prosecution brought in Eddie Garcia, former security at the Intercontinental Hotel, to invoke his Fifth Amendment rights not to incriminate himself before the jury entered the courtroom this morning. Judge Subramanian said that Friday he'd signed an immunity order compelling Garcia to testify. So is this the security person that wiped the hotel footage from the server? Hello there, Donna. Hello. Is this person? Child. Okay. All right. So we'll get into this. I thought that was interesting because remember, because I was listening to a TikTok live last night, and they were taught. Everyone was so focused in on like Cassie this, Cassie that, Cassie this, Cassie that, and because again. Everyone wants a perfect victim. And what is a perfect victim? A perfect victim is someone who is uh, oh my gosh, walking down the street and then someone jumps out in the bushes and grabs them and assaults them. Those are perfect victims, and they want to be able to go back through that victim's life and say, she's never had any problems or anything like that. And so, therefore, that's a perfect witness. And we all know that most of the time, most witnesses, they're not perfect. They've got issues. They've got some things that they've done in their past. They said everything because, even in these types of cases, a person's dating history is on point, is on the chopping block, all of these different things. And I know people will say, well, Pam, that goes to their character. True. I don't discount that. But just because someone has a certain character, does that mean that they should be assaulted? Does that mean that they should be wronged illegally? Now, I know we all say when you come across somebody who's mean as spit and they're used to being the bully and then they get bullied and everybody's like, well, see, that's what happens when you bully people. I mean, I hear what we're talking about, but still in all, that shouldn't be anything that anybody takes between the washer and the dryers. And people are like, well, that's not really what this case is about. If you use DV to coerce somebody to do something that you want, that is part of this case. It is part of this case. When you have people, when you talk about the mob and the mafia, and they are trafficking people either to do work, either to do the intimate touching work, and you beat them, you are coercing. You're using the violence to get them to continue to do what you want them to do that's making you money. And you're using your business to do it. Well, she made the arrangements. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. But she wasn't the only person that he had issues and problems with. She wasn't the only person. Now, I don't know where this Gina girl is. I don't know if Puffston people got to Gina. I can't say that. But we did have the Ed Kaplan guy to mention that Diddy threw apples at her. And also, there was some winkling of testimony that she said that she participated in the FOs with Diddy. So this is a pattern now. She won't be testifying. I think that there is one more person that's going to testify. I don't know if it's a girlfriend or not, but they say that that's who it is. But let's get into it. Because again, this case has been a slow burn. I have told you all that it's a slow burn. It's not going to be settled, and there's not going to be any exotic stuff that comes out of this, because I know a lot of us was thinking, oh my gosh, the white parties. We want to hear about, because I think in the live I was in, they wanted to hear about what Leonardo DiCaprio was doing. I'm like, this wasn't even about Leonardo DiCaprio. That's what social media and gossip put us through. We had social media. Then you've got what, Gene Deal and what's her name, Jaguar Wright, talking about all these other things that were going on, and they made it seem like that's what this was about. And it wasn't. When you read the superseding indictment, you're like, oh, this don't seem like a kidnapping. This don't seem something like a Leonardo DiCaprio would be involved in. What? Burning of a car. Now we knew about the burning of the car, Kid Cudi's car, because I think he's mentioned it a time or two. But anyway, let's get into it. I'm dragging. All right. Before the jury gets in, Judge, Mr. Steele, how much longer do you have on cross? Steele, at least until lunch, maybe after. Judge, we're not going to have 15 more Instagram posts. Steele, I can't promise that. Judge, defense, on the elevator hallway video, you're objecting to showing the versions we discussed? Defense, yes. It shows Mr. Combs running 30% faster than really happened. It's prejudicial. We let AUSA Smizer know how we will cross the expert. Let's have Mr. Garcia. Garcia enters the courtroom. Prosecution, did you receive a subpoena to testify at this trial? Garcia, yes. Now remember, we know who Garcia is. He worked at the Intercontinental Hotel. Do you intend to invoke your Fifth Amendment rights? Garcia, yes. Have you seen the proposed immunity order? Garcia, yes. Your Honor, on that basis, we propose you sign the immunity order. Done. Judge, bring in the witness, Mia. Mia takes the stand. All rise. Judge, Mr. Steele, you may proceed. Steele. Show Defense Exhibit 1750. Prosecution, because I thought that they objected to this particular I'm looking this way because this is where I have y'all, but y'all are actually right here. So forgive me if I look this way, but y'all are actually right here. I thought that they objected to that particular exhibit. Your Honor, we renew our objection. Judge, Mr. Steele, are we going to show this video? You haven't laid any type of foundation. Take the video down. Steele. Did you work as an assistant to someone? Mia? Maybe 2008, 2007? I'm not sure. Why would he just not ask who she worked with? Steele. You had a resume saying that you had the ability to multitask and had thick skin. Mia, I'm not sure I wrote that. Steele, that you were able to deal with uncomfortable situations 24/7? Smizer, objection. Reading for the document, not in evidence. Judge, overruled. Steele, did you use this as your CV? Mia, looks like it. Steele, 1753R for admission. Judge, admitted. You went to James Madison University. It's a well-known institution. Mia, sure. Then you were a design assistant. Mia, yes. Steele, in 2008, 2009, you say you provided round-the-clock support, all personal and professional needs, keeping passports. They were all collected. Mia, I don't exactly remember. I didn't travel. Steele, but you traveled with Mr. Combs' companies. Mia, oh, yes. Steele. So when you said they had your passport, they had everyone's passport, true? Mia, yes. You are a strong person. Mia, I'm good at teaching people, not necessarily at enforcing things. Steele, you're a leader? Mia, I don't know about that. Steele, you speak up for yourself? Mia, no. But you empower other people, true? Mia, yes. Let's look at your text messages in 1730 ETSQ. Mia, sounds like me. Steele, show the jury 1733. You left Mr. Combs' employ by March 2017. Mia, yes. What did you write to Mr. Combs for Christmas 2018? Please read. Mia, Merry Christmas, I love you, and the New Year's. I had just seen him at Kim's funeral. Steele, you reached out to him? Mia, absolutely. Steele, this 2019 message. Mia, I wrote, I had a nightmare. I was being chased by R. Kelly and you saved me. What? The person you say SA'd you, saved you? Objection. Judge, need to rephrase. Steele, here, what did you write? Mia, sending you all the love in the world. Steele, you were not in his grip anymore. Mia, it's psychological. Steele, why do you keep referring to psychology? Why do you do this? Kim Porter's tragic death was 5 months before. Shy, were you reaching out to Mr. Combs? Mia, 5 months is not a lot. Steele, what didn't you understand? What didn't you understand that Mr. Combs was brutal to you? How did you write this? Prosecution, objection, argumentative. Mr. Steele, let's have a brief sidebar. So they go into their sidebar and they're back. Steele. Now, May 14th, 2020, you text Mr. Combs. What? My heart is broken about Dre. In my spirituality, I know that when people are done with the physical world, it's that they have completed their mission. I love you. Steele. What's this about? Mia. He auditioned for the James Brown part that Chad Boseman got. I told Puff I emailed him videos of his audition. Steele. You carried about a video camera? Mia. He required me to do it. Pre-iPhone, I was required. Darn, Chadwick Boseman name all in this now? And who is Dre? Who is Dre? Okay. I don't know who Dre is. My heart is broken about Dre. Is that Andre Harrell? Hello, hello, everyone that's entered. In my spirit, I know that when people are done with the physical world, okay. He endorsed. Okay. So did Diddy? So is am I reading this? What's this about? Mia. He auditioned for the James Brown part that Chad Boseman got. I told Puff I emailed him videos of his audition. Okay. All right. So this text up here. Uh-oh. So this text up here and this are two separate incidents. They're two separate incidents. Okay. Steele. So I didn't know that Puff Daddy had auditioned for the James Brown role. Hey, hey, hey. Hello there, my two Twitchers. And hello there, Sam. All right. Steele. Do you have any footage of Mr. Combs berating you? Smizer. Objection. Judge. Overruled. Mia. I would not have been allowed to record that. Steele. Do you have anything about Mr. Combs berating you? Mia. It would have violated confidentiality. I don't know, Donna. It's something about Puffy's eyes. I don't know. And it's not like, again, it's not about being perfect match, but Puffy's eyes always give me, they convey some, they never convey, even when you hear interviews and you can hear his voice being very jovial, his eyes never convey that to me. I don't know if I can see him as and plus he probably would have put too much of that New York accent on it, He would have had to really break that down. It wasn't hard for Chadwick being from South Carolina, then from him to break down a dialect from being from Augusta. Because I'm thinking, if I'm thinking right, Augusta. Hold on, y'all, real quick. I got to go to a map. Okay, it's because I was trying to see if Augusta was in that that Gullah Geechee corridor, and I don't know if it is or not. Y'all let me know if it is, because I know it sounded like Chadwick had some of those dialects like that he can switch back in and out of. But anyway, let's continue. Mia, I would not have been allowed to record that. Still, do you have anything about Mr. Combs berating you? Mia, it would have violated confidentiality. Still, you have no text messages? Mia, they should me one on direct. Still, showing what? Mia, Puff said, F it, let's go to war. Still, nothing else? Mia, only reaching out to other people in the office, things others had seen. Still, what did you write here? Mia, I wrote, we had so many funny memories. OMG. Still, anything in your phone about being brutalized by Mr. Combs? Mia, I don't think so. Still, how will we find out? Prosecution, objection, judge sustained. Still, Mia, didn't you have time away from Mr. Combs to write today? He SA'd me? Mia, I did not have time, and I would not have written that. Because remember, she testified that she was taking all of that to the grave. Uh-oh. Hey, Andre Harrell. You think that who Dre was? Okay. Thank you so much, Buck Thoughts. You think so? I thought he always wore shades because he was, as my folks say from the country, he was probably drunk, higher or drunker than Cooter Brown. That he was deep. I think he was, how your eyes, like I don't know if anybody does, but you know how when you're extremely drunk, how your eyes just seem like real glazed over, or if you're high, like your pupils will be dilated. Your pupils will be very wide. I don't know if that's dilated, but they would just be real wide. And you don't want people to see you like that because you do look like in my opinion, what I would assume an alien would look out, just be like spaced out a little bit. But it could be because he just his eyes never looked gleeful, even when he was smiling. Steele, Mia, didn't you? Okay, no, all right. Steele, August 29th, 2020. He wrote to you, glad you're well. Love, please send me the footage for the doc. Steele, it's 2020. The Me Too movement is strong for 2 years, you could say. I remember the bad times, right? Mia, I would have never said that. Steele, because it's not true. Prosecution, objection, judge overruled. You wrote what? Mia, I love you too. Mia, I wrote so many crazy things like Mick Jagger trying to take me home and that Baccarat game, my pink bedazzled phones. There are trillions of stories. Of course, I'll send to you. I was bamboozled by Heather. Remember the scrapbook I made you? I've got you. Steele, why didn't you write, you bamboozled me? Mia, because I was brainwashed. By whom? Puff. How did he bamboozle you with the part of his body in you without your consent? Prosecution, objection, judge sustained. Okay. You know how sometimes you read this and things are so out of context. When we get the actual transcripts, we definitely will go over those when we do this case autopsy. Still, what does brainwashing mean? Mia, the highs were really highs and the lows were really low. I was punished whenever Puffy was violent, making me believe that I had done something wrong. He was praised by the public. Still, you were aware of the Me Too movement No outcry of you. Why? Mia. He said he was going to tell Cassie what happened. I internalized blame and shame. Steele. Who threatened to tell Miss Ventura about Mr. Combs supposedly sexually assaulting you? Answer. Puff. Steele. Why didn't you respond? So I think what he's trying to do is 2020 was the height of the Me Too movement. You had just been out of employ with Sean Combs. That should have been the time that you had really gone through there and sued Puff or done anything if you said that he did all of these things. And why didn't you? Which for the defense is a good line of questioning. Steele. Why didn't you respond? Great. Let's tell everyone what you did to me. Prosecution objection. Judge. Sustain. Let's move on. Steele. You said you have a moral obligation to speak up. Mia. Now I do. Steele. Why not in 2017? Mia. I was brainwashed. Steele. When did you first say me too? Mia. When I first saw him being held as responsible. Now I have therapy. Steele. He didn't let her finish or innocent and crushed didn't get that full information. Steele. Mr. Combs wrote, I gotta find that you got a copy. What does it refer to? Mia. I think he means the James Brown video. Steele. Scrapbook. Mia. I think I have PDFs. I think I gave it to you for a birthday in your house on Mapleton. I customized that purple leather suit so you could walk, not giving an F. If y'all can't find it, I will, but I didn't. You had a PDF? Mia, I thought so. Steele, what did you write here? Mia, my grandmom went into hospice, so I have to fly out. I have to miss your event here in my hometown. Say la vie, effing crush it and make history. Heart emoji. Steele, deepest sympathies for your grandmother. Thanks. Steele, what is this about? Mia, there have been some terrible events with the police. Pharrell organized an event to change the narrative of Beach Week, which I think is a college thing. Steele, you wanted to see Mr. Combs? Mia, I did not. I only said so. Mia, my hometown of Virginia Beach doesn't usually get this type of attention. Steele, you're telling the jury you were scared of Mr. Combs? True? Mia, true. I was scared of him when he was scary. Steele, listen to 1750 and tell me if you recognize it. Steele, move to admit 1750 and 1750R. Judge, Ms. Smyser, we object. The proper basis for admission has not been established. Judge, let's have a sidebar. So let's get into what they're saying. So, according to CNN, defense attorney Brian Steele asked Mia, a former assistant of Sean Diddy Combs, if she told if she told anyone about the abuse she said she endured from Combs when it was happening. He says, quote, do you have anything where you contemporaneously wrote to a friend, family member, police officer, anybody, and said, this is what's going on. I'm being assaulted, berated, anything, Steele asked. She said, no. The only time I reached out for help was very subtly to people in the office, but not disclosing things that other people hadn't witnessed, Mia responded. I would never. Steele went on to ask Mia if the text messages shown today, including incidents where she sent him holiday greetings and said, I love you, demonstrate almost a loving relationship between Mia and Combs. She says, I quote, I'm sending him support and love, yes. Mia said that nobody around batted an eye when her former boss, Sean Diddy Combs, misbehaved. He was still praised by everyone in his circle and in public, she testified. I was also constantly seeking his approval. He was my authority figure, my only authority figure, Mia said. Me, uh, Mia said that the music mogul threatened to tell his girlfriend Cassie Ventura about what happened between himself and Mia, which made Mia internalize blame and shame. Mia had been testifying about the violence and the abuse, verbal, physical, and sexual, she says she had experienced while employed by Mr. Combs. Nobody acted like what was happening to me was wrong. And his threats about what he was going to tell Cassie about what happened made me internalize blame and shame, Mia testified. Defense attorney Brian Steele asked Mia why she didn't want Combs to tell Ventura that he had essayed her. Mia responded that Combs didn't use those words. He threatened to tell Cassie, quote unquote, everything, which made me feel like I had done something wrong. I don't know how to explain what that does to a person, she testified. All right. So they have a sidebar, they're back. Judge, it may be admitted. So they're going to admit the video. And the judge took a break. Now that's that. Now I'm impressed. That was good lawyering, because you remember when we left here Friday, they couldn't get that video in, even if they couldn't get that video in for nothing. But look how Brian Steele worked that in, talking about how she was acting like they were in a loving relationship, to the point now that's foundation for them to bring that video in. All right. All right. The jury saw a video of Mia made for Sean Diddy Combs' 44th birthday in 2013. Mia is sitting at a desk in the video and tells Combs that she was blessed to call him a friend and thanked him for being one of the biggest inspirations in my life. I love you. Happy birthday, Mia said in the video, blowing a kiss. Judge allowed the video clip to be shown over the objections from the prosecutors. Defense attorney Alexander Shapiro said Monday morning that the video supports the defense's team argument that Mia is presenting a false persona to the jury. And they take a short break. All right. Prosecution, until now, had been objecting to exhibits and turning over private correspondence of this witness. We have now sat through hours of humiliating cross. Mr. Steele has insulted this witness, saying things like, God forbid, after things she said. One by one, Your Honor let the exhibit in, but now, cumulatively, we have reached harassment. Given the tone, we do not think continuing this is appropriate. She has carried herself with grace. This is adding to the trauma. Eyes are on this trial. Prosecution. Other victims in other trials will become aware of this. Judge, I have not seen yelling. My understanding that his, God forbid, is an apology, not an attempt to intimidate. But the argumentative questions, is Mr. Steele here? You're repeating yourself. Judge, I feel like you're asking questions just to ask them, and I'm going to tell you to move on. Understood? Steele, I understand. Judge, I don't see improper treatment here, Ms. Comey, but I will continue to watch. Steele, I saw photographs 1799, 1 through 25. So Prosecutor Maureen Comey accused defense attorney Brian Steele of harassing and humiliating Mia on the stand with yelling, sarcastic, and argumentative questions. Comey also said that the dozen of social media posts that Mr. Steele has compelled media to discuss are cumulative and have nothing to do with her credibility. The judge said he hasn't heard Steele yell or be sarcastic, but agreed that Steele has asked improper argumentative questions. The judge also said that he sustained objections to any improper question and warned Mr. Steele to be mindful not to continue asking argumentative questions that might make him seem like he's doing it purposely just for the jury to hear, knowing the questions will be struck anyway. And you remember I told you that you can't unring that bell. Once the jury hears something, you can tell them to disregard it, but that's going to be in the back of their heads. They're going they're going to disregard it regardedly, meaning that they're going to, they're supposed to not use it in the testimony, but they definitely will that they will recall that. The parties are now discussing more exhibits Steele wants to submit into evidence during Mia's trial. And let's get over here to all right. All right. So here's some of the things that NBC says. The witness face was briefly shown on an internal courthouse feed through the era. Didn't elicit an immediate reaction to the courtroom. For about 30 seconds, a camera showed Mia, who was testifying under a pseudonym, despite a judge order that her face not be shown or even drawn by courtroom sketch artists. When her face was shown in the feed in the overflow room, the prosecution didn't lodge an immediate objection. Prosecutor Moran alerted him that she felt Combs' defense was mistreating Mia. Comey let out concerns that Steele's sarcasm and suggestion that Mia is lying are bordering on harassment. Judge warned Steele that he can ask a question and move on, but that if he believes that Steele is asking something just to get out there, he will step in. The witness said that she was very close to Cassie Ventura, but admitted not telling Combs' girlfriend everything that she could have. Mia conceded that she didn't tell Ventura about Combs' alleged SA on her. She also said that she would keep the music mogul's whereabouts from Ventura under his order. I remember covering for him and feeling terrible about it. Mia told the court that she felt terrible about covering for Combs with Ventura, his former girlfriend, but felt that if she didn't, he would have taken away his access to her. Mia testified that Combs would find out because he stole their phones and put tracking devices on Ventura's car. So that's how he knew that she was at the Prince party. She added that she wasn't sure what Combs was capable of and reiterated that she was terrified. All right, so let's get back to the testimony. All right, Judge Steele, I saw 20 photographs, 1799, 1 through 25. Judge, can I see them? Prosecution, we don't have stamped versions of these. Judge, do you have the photos? Prosecution, yes, but we won't know which one you're referring to. Judge, Mr. Steele, why don't they have stamped copies of these? Steele, only saw this morning. Judge, just showed them one by one. Next. Mr. Steele, what is the relevance? Steele, impeachment. She said she had no time for herself to tell others. These images show Mia with friends and family over the years. Judge, why would baby showers have relevance? Why not just ask questions about this? Why show these? Steele, because I like to do the impeachment that way. Judge, absent any further showing, they're excluded. Steele, admit them for the record. Judge, no. Okay. So there were some pictures that he was trying to admit to say, because Mia said, I couldn't tell anybody, but he's like, oh, you went to a baby shower, you could have shown them. Oh, you went to a Christmas party, you could have told them. Oh, you went to all of these little different things, you're going to tell them. But realistically, who's going to a baby shower? Who's going to a wedding? Who's going to any of these things and tell somebody that you've been SA? Anybody in the chat? Anybody in chat that's going to do that? Again, he's moving as if to impeach her because she is not the perfect witness. She's not the perfect victim. We have certain things where we talk about how perfect a victim is supposed to be before we can say that she is actually a victim or he is actually a victim, because it happens to men too. When men are essayed by women, people are like, you're a man. There's no way that woman could do something to that effect to you. And also, with men, we make their essay like a rite of passage. There have been, and I'm a Gen Xer, so there have been several movies like Porky's and all these types of movies where they talk about the rite of passage, and all throughout this movie you will see not just that particular movie, but just movies, particularly if you grew up watching movies from the 70s, from the 80s, and from the early 90s. You would see a slew of movies where it'd be rite of passage for a teenage boy to a teenager to be enthralled and have intimate relations with his teacher, or the neighbor's wife, or all these things. But those things are SA. And we think, oh, that doesn't affect. It does. Psychologically, it does affect. Because think what happens when that is found out. Think about what happens. Because she'll shrink into, oh my gosh, I didn't know, I just couldn't, he overpowered me. She was the adult. And then we think, oh, well, it doesn't. Well, you all are sitting around here, ladies, upset and complaining about men who are not, who treat you less than human. You talk about these men who treat you with other disrespect. That's on the softer side of it. The rougher side of it, you get the R. Kellys of the world. I want us to be very clear about how SA doesn't affect everybody the same way. However, if you've got some issues, if you are dealing with issues, or if you have issues, things like that, all of those things can come about from all of that. Because again, you're 16 years old, whether you're a girl or a boy, and there are psychological issues that come up from that. And with women, women are adultified so early that people think, oh, well, she knew what was going on. Her 16-year-old brain is no different than his 16-year-old brain. There is differences because there's hormones and different things. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, when you talk about the maturity rate, girls are not more mature than boys at 16. And that's just one of those false positive narratives that we put out there. Just because you can cook and you can clean and you can take care of a baby and change a baby's diaper and all that at 16 doesn't make you grown. It means you have skills. Doesn't make you grown. Let's continue, because I'll be on this topic all day. It does. Because I think, again, because part of the judge's responsibility is you're not going to be sitting here 6 and 7 weeks. 20 and 40 weeks on a case. So he needs to move you along. And if you continue to ask questions that are, repetitive, that wastes time in the judge's book. Not like in the YSL case where that judge was just letting that prosecution just answer every, just go on and go on and go on and go on, and there was no sight ending. And to have Woody on that stand for daggum look like 3 or 4 months, and that was the judge's fault, because the judge should have railed in the prosecution like, listen, you need to go ahead and ask the pertinent questions, because you only have 4 hours left to be able to ask him what questions. So you need to figure out which questions are the most pertinent so we can move on to the next witness. Because remember, These witnesses are being these witnesses are being flown in, being kept in hotels, and those are expenses. And it's not, if they want that witness to be there and they want that witness to testify, then they definitely are going to have to provide those expenses. So they're going to definitely want to make sure that they ask all the pertinent questions that they want to ask at that time. But if you're just going to continue to ask these questions, because they, like I said, the defense has an opportunity to put on their case. If they need to ask these questions later, they can definitely bring this witness back if they need to. But they still want, the judge's responsibility is to make sure that they have time. And I will tell you this, I don't think that that's any different. However, you keep that to yourself. Everyone has a teacher that they like, that they thought was cute, but you don't go past that point. If anything goes past that point, that's the adult's problem. That's the adult's responsibility to tap that down, to say, no, you are a child, I am an adult, and I am your teacher. And that is improper. It is not right. That is what you're supposed to do. But once that teacher sits back and takes you up on that, that's a problem. And then there are issues behind once that happens, because now the teacher understands and knows that what they've done is wrong. They're going to be doing things to make sure that they try to keep you from saying anything. And so there's a level of manipulation that goes on in regards to that. It's a whole lot of. And like I said, you're not mature at that age. You all may do skills. You may go out with your father and cut down trees and know how to wrestle a cow or whatever it is that your father teaches you how to do. And you may know how to do things because your mother taught you how to cook and how to clean and how to take care of kids and know about sicknesses and illnesses and what treatments and things like that you need to do. Those are skills. Those are not processes of maturity. Those are skills that you learned. But for women, you're adultified, because again, the way our society works is that women are supposed to be cooking and cleaning and nurturing and taking the care of the children. So once somebody sees that you can do that, oh, well, she can take care of a whole household. She's adult enough to do it. And so women are adultified. Men, if they're, because I will tell y'all, and I don't mean no harm. And if you take harm, I don't mean it, but we know it to be the truth. If there was no law talking about ages of consent, if there was no laws talking about ages of consent, a lot of you all will be trying to get with children. And particularly those children that are between 11 and 13. And I'm just, and I don't mean no harm when I say that, but I'm just saying to you, because I've heard many a men say, oh, well, she's past the age of, because she was 17. Okay, well, were you looking at her when she was 16, 15, 14? Ladies, were you looking at him 16, 15, 14? You got to watch how we sound sometime. Because I've heard of many of folk trying to prove a point and you sound weird. You sound weird. Still, admit them for the record. Judge, no. Still, we want them in if there is an appeal. Prosecution, we'll put them in the case file. That's how we'll handle it. Still, I asked Mia, you still have friends? And she said, I did not see them. I did not have an external sounding board. She said that there was no time. Judge, the problem is putting in the post. They are not relevant and they are cumulative. You've already spent a lot of time to the scrapbook. Please bring Mia back in. All rise. Steele, you and Miss Ventura were best friends. Fair. Mia, yes. Steele, you said she was your sister. Mia, yes. Steele, you loved her. Mia, absolutely. Steele, and you feel the same way today? Mia, yes. You would never lie to her? Mia, Puff didn't allow me to tell her things like where he was, anything he said. Prosecution. Was Miss Ventura in love with Mr. Combs? Mia, I thought so. Steele, did you ever tell her the person she loved argued? Mia, no. Do you remember telling her Mr. Combs' brain needed to be rewired? Prosecution. May we have a sidebar? Judge, you may. They go back to sidebar and then they're back. Steele. Why would you cover up for Mr. Combs to Miss Ventura? Why writing that Mr. Combs is just misunderstood? Prosecution. Objection. Judge. Rephrase. Steele. Did you tell Miss Ventura she needs to stay with Mr. Combs? Mia. I don't remember that. Mia. He could find out what I was telling her. Steele. How? He had stolen my phone and Cassie phones many times. He's put tracking devices on her car. Steele. But you were alone with Miss Ventura. Yes. Steele. You sued Mr. Combs for $10 million? It was a mediation. My lawyers ended up getting 200,000. Steele. You got 200,000? Mia. Yes. Steele. Please look at the screen. Is this your social media account? Mia. Looks like a text message. Sounds like me. Steele. Your text to Mr. Combs. Mia. I don't remember sending this. Steele. You were in a tutu and Mr. Combs appeared to be holding his private parts. In Miss Ventura, she alleged essay. Mia. Yes. Why did you still communicate with Mr. Combs? Prosecution. Objection. Sustained. Again, I would have said asked and answered, because this is about the fourth time since I've been reading the stuff that he's asked this particular question. Steele. Did you meet these prosecutors in January 2024? Mia. I may have. I don't remember the timing. Steele. Did you tell Mr. Combs that Mr. Combs essayed you? Mia. I don't remember when I told them. Steele. Did you get a lawyer? Mia. Yes. Steele. The lawyer who had 45 days earlier obtained an enormous judgment. Prosecution. Objection. Sustained. Who was her lawyer, y'all? Because she testified that he put tracking devices on her car. She talked about feeling terrible about not telling what he did. Okay, so they didn't say which lawyer who her lawyer was. Let's move on. Steele. You only first alleged essay in June 2024. Mia. I don't remember the timing of things. The rest I can't get into. I understand it's privilege. Prosecution. Objection. That sustains. Let's have a sidebar. Baby, they done had 3 or 4 sidebars. Baby, I bet it's juicy in there. They have had 3 or 4 sidebars that we have read so far. Let's see. They're back. So let me do this. Y'all give me 2 minutes, okay? I'm going to take a 2-minute break. Give me 2 minutes. All right, let's continue. So they have had about 3 to 4 breaks since we got here. And so they're back. So let's continue. Still, let's talk about Prince's party. You said that you had no permission to go there, but you knew many people who knew Mr. Combs would be there. Judge, rephrase. Still, did you wear a disguise? Mia, no. Still, any photos of a chase? Mia, no. Still, you say you and Miss Ventura got on a paddleboard into a storm. Mia, yes. Any recording of that? Mia, no. Any note or text message to prove it happened? Mia, I don't think so. We were on a paddleboard. Still, did you make it up? Mia, no. Still, you said you had no time with family. Did you ever go to events with your family and friends? Mia, sporadically over 8 years, but few and far between. Still, weddings? Mia, sister and best friends, I believe. Still, Halloween? I don't remember. Still, you had times with others, right? Mia, I had to be in communication 24/7. I was never outside of his grip. Still, outside of the work environment, why couldn't you explain the abuse you saw that you were experiencing? Mia, it's more complicated than that. Still, isn't it true that others than the few times Mr. Combs was violent with Miss Ventura, which is never okay, you were comfortable with Mr. Combs? Judge, you have to rephrase. Still, you never advised Miss Ventura to leave him. Mia, no. Still, until 2024, you never told anyone you were SA'd. Mia, unless it was my privileged therapist, that's true. All right. All right. Because see, if they want to know what she said to her therapist, they're gonna have to ask that therapist to break privilege, and I don't think that therapist is going to do this. Still, could you waive that privilege? Prosecution, objection. Judge, move on. Still, you joined the Me Too money grab against Mr. Combs. Prosecution, objection. Still, you knew Miss Ventura received money from her lawsuit against Mr. Combs? Mia, it was public. Still, but you speak with Miss Ventura. Mia, never about anything else I discussed with the government. Still, how would we know that? Prosecution, objection. Judge, sustained. Combs, Steele, excuse me. Let me show you documents. Read it to yourself. And Your Honor, could we have a sidebar? Judges, this is the 5th sidebar. This is the 5th. So if you're joining me on TikTok, I'm just going over the transcripts from Inner City Press. I'm also reviewing CNN and NBC News' information, what's going on in the trial. So far, Mia still is on the stand. And so we are going to be going over that. Oh, Lord. My neighbor is mowing her grass. That means I got to mow mine. Community standards, y'all. Community standards. All right. Judge. Jurors, you can leave. Judge Tamia, when you come back, so they're going to take a break. Mia, when you come back soon, you'll be shown dockets. Have a good break. Mia leaves. Agnophilia, we'll talk with the government over the break about the witness's lawyer. Judge, okay. So they take a break for lunch. And so let's go over what NBC News says about what's going on. After her departure from Poet Combs' employment, Mia went to mediation and originally asked for $10 million, and she received $400,000. $200 million went to her lawyers, and she got $200,000. Why am I saying $200 million? All right. They eventually settled for $400,000, with her lawyers retaining $200,000 and Mia retaining the other $200,000. Combs's defense pushed Mia about why she waited to tell the government her allegations of SA against Combs, saying it took about 7 or 8 months until she revealed information to prosecutors. Mia told the court that she doesn't remember the exact conversation, but she did not tell the government until she had retained legal representation. The reasons are privilege, she said. Attorney-client privilege protects the confidentiality of communications between the lawyer and the client. And I guess that's why the Steele asked her to waive her privilege. What are you saying, Sam? I talked to the pastor about age gap. I told him that that is wrong. My heart tells me it's wrong to get with someone older or younger. My pastor said there was nothing wrong. I was like, what? You cry. I'm just telling you all, if there wasn't, because if you think about back in the day, and we ain't talking too long, and also we're not even talking about even particularly the states that you live in. You know, there are some states that think that as long as a parent consent, they can marry off their child at 12 years old. And what do you call that? All right. Give me a moment. I'm just going through. So we have some, let me see if we have some over here. Because I'd love to hear like what's going on in the courtroom. Hold on, I'm just trying to get to all right. So let's look. NBC has one female juror appears skeptical of parts of Mia's testimony. One female juror was seen smiley, seemingly enjoying defense attorney Brian Steele's cross-examination of Mia. Sometimes the juror eyes widen and eyes furrowed her brow, appearing skeptical of Mia's testimony. Interesting. Interesting. All right, here we go. So we're back from the break. Make sure that I'm highlighting them with the heart. Okay, they're back. Judge, Mr. Steele, you may proceed. Steele, Mia, were you able to review over the break some of your interviews with prosecutors? Mia, yes. And you didn't mention SA until June 2024. I don't remember the dates. Steele, did you give all your materials to the government? Mia, I gave them to my lawyer. They gave them to the government. Steele, look at this one. Steele, in these notes, did you raise SA to the prosecution? Prosecutor's objection, improper refreshment. Judge overruled. Steele, did you raise it in January 2024? Mia, definitely not in the first meeting. Mia, I don't remember each specific meeting, but I definitely didn't raise it the first meeting. Steele, and in this next document that you just reviewed, Judge, just ask her if her recollection is refreshed. Mia, no, not the specifics. Steele, you never mentioned SA until you hired lawyer Sean Crawley. Mia, I have no idea when I first mentioned it, except that it was after I had representation. All right, so let's see. Sean G. Crawley is a partner at Heckler Fink. She's a highly accomplished trial lawyer and former federal prosecutor. Has litigated and tried some of the country's most influential, important cases. Most recently, Sean was the co-lead trial counsel representing E. Jean Terrell in her SA and defamation trials against Donald Trump, securing historic verdicts of $5 million to $83.3 million in the last year. Drawing on her experience as a former prosecutor, Sean has built a diverse white-collar practice representing clients in connection with white-collar crime, defense and federal, state, and regulatory investigations into insider trading. Oh my. So she has represented a lot of high-powered people here. And she was an attorney for the Southern District of New York. Okay. So she doesn't come cheap, y'all. I'm just saying, she don't come cheap. Mia, I have no idea when I first mentioned it, except that it was after I had representation. Steele, you intend to sue Mr. Combs for compensation? You want money? Mia, no. Steele, who have you worked for since? Mia, Madonna. For how long? Mia, 8 months from April 2019. Steele, when you did that, did Mr. Combs assist you in getting that job? Mia, absolutely not. Steele, so you were not blacklisted? Mia, no. Steele, no retribution? Mia, he took away the TV show, the credit I was promised. Steele, you told the jury you were surprised that you were let go, right? Mia, I did. Steele, were you let go for drinking? This is the first time I've heard about drinking. Mia, no. Steele, you remember Miss Ventura's video called Official Girl? Mia, yes. Steele, and King of Hearts and her song with Nicki Minaj, The Boys? Mia, yes. And Nicki Minaj is well known? Mia, yes. And Miss Ventura did the song Numb with Rick Ross? Mia, she did. Steele, and I Love It with Fabulous? Mia, yes. And do you remember Miss Ventura being in a studio with Kid Cudi? Mia, I don't remember the specifics. Steele, and Mr. Combs himself? Yes. Steele, the TV show you mentioned, what was it about? My experience. Steele, how a person from a small town dealt with a person such as Mr. Combs? Mia, a comedic version. So she was doing a show, a treatment on how a small town gal gets up to the big city and works with in the processes of her working with a music mogul. Steele, what other films did you work on? Now this is repetitive because we got this information out in the direct examination. So I'm just curious. Mia, Dope, Lawless, Undefeated. Steele, you enjoyed the projects? Mia, yes. And you called the people a second family. We all called it that. So this is just me, y'all. And he has right to ask these questions, but some of these questions are sounding repetitive. These are things that we knew as she came back. So I don't know why he's continuing to ask these questions if there is no the best way I can say it, there's no gotcha moment because she's asked these questions. You thought Mr. Combs was a genius? Mia, at the time. You wanted to continue work with Mr. Combs, right? Mia, I wanted to continue following my dream. Steele, do you, if Mr. Combs' company put more money into promoting this Ventura, did you know if Mr. Combs' company put more money into promoting Miss Ventura than any other artist? I did not absorb everything. Who is Jason Wiley? He worked for the record label. Steele, in budgeting, right? Do you recall being given the opportunity to have your therapist notes be seen by the parties? Objection, judge, sidebar. Because at this part, at this point, this is the sixth sidebar we have seen with just Steele. I think these are more sidebars than he had in the YSL trial. Good goodness. About to make my mouth dry with all these sidebars. Steele, you never called law enforcement, right? Mia, I did not. Steele, you said when you were stopped by while speeding in LA, Mr. Combs got you out of it. You remember? Mia, I do. Did you ever think of calling anonymously? Mia, no. Steele, when you say Mr. Combs hurt your arm, did you seek medical help? No, I would not have been allowed. Steele, did you take photos? Mia, no. Did you scream? No, I was in shock. Steele, before the 5 days you say you were awake, did you ever stay awake that long? Mia, absolutely not. Steele, you testified that you would give up all the money if there had not been SA. Any discussion that you would make money by testifying? No. Okay. Any discussion that you will make money by testifying? Okay. So he was asking her because there was a point in the direct examination of Mia that she would have given up the $200,000 if there would have been no SA. Okay. No, that's not even a thing. Steele, Your Honor, can I set up those other matters, Judge? Yes, we'll break for that. Oh Lord, they have this girl on the stand for so long. They have her on the stand for so long. I am confused. Y'all tap that screen over here on TikTok because I'm seeing people joining, but I don't know if they're joining and leaving and joining and leaving, but that's okay. Just tap the screen. For those of you all that are here, would you mind tapping the screen? I really appreciate it. All right. So we have caught up. So let's go into all right. So we've caught up, but let's before we get into that, let's see what NBC talks about. The witness said that she went on to work for Madonna after being let go from her job with Combs, refuting insinuations that she has not been employed and could be bitter with the defendant. In an 8-month stint with the Material Girl, Mia said she worked as an assistant in addition to the Icon's film division. Mia says she cured the Madonna gig independently without Combs' help. The witness also accused Combs of reneging on helping her with the TV show that she developed. Mia was asked several questions about Ventura's working life during her years with Combs, as the defense apparently tried to undermine prior witness implication that he stunted Ventura's career. Defense attorney Brian Steele asked Mia questions about Ventura obtaining modeling jobs, movie work, and even music she worked on with other artists, such as Wiz Khalifa. Mia testified that all of this was done with Combs' knowledge and consent. Prior witnesses have said that while Ventura recorded music while dating Combs, she was unable to release new albums as part of her 10-album deal with Combs Record Company. Ventura has one studio album, which was released in 2006, and a mixtape, which dropped in 2013. And from what I understand from those you all have listened to it, that the mixtape was decent. Am I correct? Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. Yes, all of this is just insane. It's a lot. It's a lot. Steele revisited Mia's pruning herself from the timeline text messages, echoing what might be the defense's strongest point of this cross-examination. But like in previous instances of Steele asking Mia about her praising of Combe, the witness owned it and explained her mindset of wanting to remain employed by the defendant. My entire world was ripped away from me immediately, she said. And even if in hindsight that world was awful, I didn't know it at the time. That's why I felt like everything was ending. The cross-examination of Mia moved into the former's assistant's observation of Combs' relationship with Ventura, specifically whether Ventura was jealous of other women. Oh, we haven't gotten into this, but let's continue. She testified that in her experience, she only recalled Ventura being upset when she saw Combs with another woman while Ventura was filming in South Africa. Mia testified that the relationship was presented to Ventura as one of exclusivity between her and Combs. When defense attorney Brian Steele noted that clearly wasn't true, Mia told the court it was not clear to her. Let's get into what we're talking about. Let's see if we got. All right, so we will read this later. Let's get into what we have so far from Inner City Press. But let me make sure. It says here that according to CNN Entertainment, it says Combs' former assistant says she doesn't intend to sue him over SA allegations. So, all right, those of you all that are on TikTok, if you would, you can follow. Would you follow me over on YouTube at Pam Entertainment TV, as it says behind me, Pam Entertainment TV. I'm getting ready to close out the live. So come join us over there, or you can join us on Twitter, or if you're on Twitch, you can join me as well. Pam Entertainment TV 2024 on Twitch and Pam Entertainment TV on X. Hotel room. He didn't want to do these things, but I made him do it. All right, people. Too bad I can't do Twix. I mean Twix. I'm gonna mix two platforms. TikTok on my computer or StreamYard to be able to go live with them. Let's continue. All right. They're back. Steele, nothing further. Judge, member of the jury, do not consider any of the testimony about this witness communication with their therapist. Ms. Miser, prosecution. Mia was posting to social media. Part of your job? Mia, yes. Also, Steele finally rested. Okay. Prosecution. As part of that, did you post on your personal Instagram account? Mia, yes. What did Mr. Combs do if he thought you were not doing your job? Mia, I'd be yelled at and humiliated. Prosecution. Did other employees also post for Mr. Combs' birthday? Mia, yes. Prosecution. The birthday video, was it for Club Diddy? Mia, yes. Did Mr. Combs co-own the water you were drinking? And did you say Revolt, the project you worked on at the end? Mia, yes. You posted about the good, not bad times. Mia, yes. So it says you posted about the good times. Yeah. Now I would tell you here recently, people are just like using the social media spaces as their, I guess, like their therapists or something. But usually, especially on Instagram, everybody was just posting on all the things that they did, you know, and that's why people were talking about. I remember, and particularly within the pandemic, you started to realize that people were posting. You probably read. People were posting like their lifestyles and stuff like that, and they weren't really living those lifestyles. So you'll have people posting like at the marina, like they're getting ready to get on their yacht, and then you find out that they don't have a yacht. Oh, my hair just came down. They were posted on being on their yacht, and they didn't have a yacht, or they were able to post by the marina or post at all these little different places. All right, that should hold. Okay. So we're waiting to see, what time is it? So it's 2:36 there. So they still have about 2 more hours of testimony. All right, let's continue. Defense asked Mia if she was let go of her job due to her alcohol abuse, and she said definitely not. So this is the first time we heard about alcohol and alcohol abuse, unless I'd have missed something. It says here, and this is just a think piece from CNN, that Mia's testimony may help the prosecution with the trafficking charge, legal analyst says. So it says here, Mia, a former Combs employee, testified under a pseudonym, has been on the stand since this morning answering questions under cross-examination about her experience working for Combs. Mia's testimony, which began last week, details allegations that she was physically and essayed by the music moguls multiple times during her employment from 2009 to 2017. This morning, Mia testified about the control Combs held over her during her employment, saying that she was psychologically under his grip and terrified of him. Her testimony could help the prosecution's case for a conviction on the trafficking charge. Criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Mark O'Mara, who is not involved with the Combs federal criminal trial. He says, quote, in order to get the trafficking conviction, you have to show that coercion, that duress, the way that Mr. Combs did everything he did for a particular purpose, O'Mara told CNN. So bringing in all of these witnesses, including Mia now, to say this is the environment that Mr. Combs is responsible for and was an environment of coercion. Right. Defense attorney Brian Steele asked Mia a couple of questions about reporting the abuse she allegedly endured by Combs. The former assistant testified that she didn't contact law enforcement about it. She said no when Steele asked her if she ever considered reporting the alleged abuse through a woman's shelter, doing so anonymously, or asking a third party to report it. So that's what when we saw that last little bit of cross-examination by Steele, he was talking about. He was asking her, did she have any opportunity, or did she take any opportunity to report, particularly within the Me Too movement? Mia said, okay, defense attorney Brian Steele revisited Mia's testimony about the time that Sean Diddy Combs slammed a door on her arm multiple times. Mia said that her arm was bruised, but she didn't seek any medical treatment. She said, I wouldn't have been allowed. I will tell y'all one thing. This is not boding well about being anybody's personal assistant. This would not be anything that I would be interested in, being someone's personal assistant. Because, we have The Devil Wears Prada, where that person was, where they were supposed to be loosely based on, what's her name? Anna Wintour. Can you imagine the movie that would come out about this particular case? And you don't even have to go over anything about the essay. All you need to go about is just being a personal assistant of his. Mia said she didn't scream during the incident, even though it was painful. She said that she was in shock. And so let's see. All right, so we have Combs' defense is done with cross-examination. We have prosecutor Madison Smizer is going through several of Mia's social media posts that the jury saw during cross-examination. Mia confirmed that promoting the events and project in those posts were part of her job. Smizer asked Mia what Sean Diddy Combs did when he thought he wasn't doing his job. She states, I would be screamed at, humiliated, made fun of, and my job would be threatened, Mia said. Mia confirmed that posting for Combs' birthday was also part of her job, and if she didn't do it, she would be in trouble. She would have been in trouble. All right. So let's see if we go out. Let's see if we can refresh. Okay, we've got pretty good. All right, so let's get on to this. Get up here. Prosecution. Why did you want to make the person who abused you happy? Mia. When he was happy, I was safe. Prosecution. Were you worried about your physical safety? Mia. Yes. I'd been abused by Puff before. I knew his wrath. Did you engage a pro bono lawyer? Mia. Yes. Why did you meet with the government so much? Mia. So my story could be understood. Prosecution. Why were you terrified? Mia. Of Puff and the repercussions. Prosecution. Did the government tell you what to say? No, only to tell the truth. Yeah. Only to tell the truth. Prosecution. How do you feel about public speaking? Mia. Terrified. Can you explain that, given that you've been in comedy? Mia. I had Puff's permission for that. Prosecution. Any comparison to testifying about Mr. Combs essaying you here? Mia. None. I will tell you this. I think this particular, I think that this particular questioning and her talking like this, I think it's going to be a little too much for the jury, particularly if you've lost a jury in defense, in the defense crossing. I think this is going to be too much about you're doing these things, but you didn't do this because you were scared of him. But I'm hoping that they're talking about in the realms of being in his employ. Prosecution. Why are you here today? Mia. If I could not look at my goddaughters in the eyes and advise them what to do in the situation. Judge. Mr. Steele, any recross? Steele. No, sir. Judge. Mia may go unless you want to stay. She smiles and Mia leaves. So, from what we get from CNN, what we've read on here, and what we get to, I think that Brian Steele's cross-examination of Mia, I think he got through to a couple of the jurors. I think he made it seem like what she was talking about was a little over the top. Because I was curious as to why he kept re-asking those questions and re-asking those questions. And I think he's basically making her look silly. Like, this is really silly. You had the opportunities to to leave. You had the opportunities to quit. You had all of these opportunities to do these things. And so you're saying that this one person was like this Svengali and was able to get you not to do anything. You sat there and you were abused by this person, but you stayed, but you acted like, because he's almost making her look like a silly, lovesick girl. Because that's what I was thinking as I was reading that testimony. That's the way I felt about that. And again, that is part of what the defense is supposed to do. They're supposed to pop holes into the prosecution. And also, I see too that Mia's first day of testimony was gut wrenching. By the second day, people were probably in tears. But when the defense got to her, he slowly tried to make her seem like a lovesick girl who didn't understand and know what was going on. That's good lawyering by the lawyer side. That's the way I got the information coming out as I was reading it. I really would love to hear what the people in the courtroom have to say about the demeanor and about things. Did she look up? Because when it was reported earlier, Mia's head was down. Mia wasn't really engaging with the prosecution. I mean, she wasn't really engaging with the people. And so she wouldn't look up. People said that they only saw the part in the middle of her head, but she really wasn't engaging. I don't know if she was still doing the same demeanor, because you remember the defense was real big about making sure or wanting to show a video showing that her demeanor in court is different from her demeanor on the videos. And so it's almost like they were saying, hey, she's putting on a front. That she is putting on a front. That her testimony and the way she testified the first day with her head down and she being very scared, they're saying that that's a front, and they wanted to go with posts that she posted on social media after her employ and all of these other different things, and that she still was communicating. But we also see too that Capricorn Clark was also still communicating with him, and she explained. I think the defense did a good job there by asking her, was she blackballed? Putting in the jury's mind that, he's not really blackballing everybody. But I think that was a good point by the defense. And I'm just pointing out the things that stood out to me as to reading all of this. Now, I'm interested in this Mr. Garcia, because Mr. Garcia was sitting around here talking about he was about to plead the fifth. And so the judge, I guess, signed his immunity deal. So I am surely looking forward to see Mr. Garcia and what he says. Was Mr. Garcia the person who was Mr. Garcia the next person that's up? Let's see. I'm just giving people time. All right, let's read this really quickly. Defense attorney Brian Steele revisited Mia's prior testimony of the violence she endured while working with Combs, noting in 14 years, all she ever wrote about Combs was statements of admiration. Mia testified that there was a time where Combs slammed a door on her arm, continued to apply pressure, leaving her bruised. She said the only interaction with Combs Human Resources for them to enforce a punishment that he wanted. Steele recalled her prior testimony, stating that she was scared of being pruned from the timeline, asking Mia if there were times she felt like she could die at Combs's hand. Mia told the court that he had threatened her life and physically assaulted her. Let's get to the new update. Combs' defense ended its cross-examination, allowing prosecutors to redirect Mia's testimony. Mia was asked about her work with Combs, which included managing all of Combs' social media presence. She testified that if Combs did not feel as if she was doing her job, Mia would be punished and her job would have been threatened. This apparently including posting for Combs' birthday. As Mia told the court, she would have been in trouble if she didn't post. All right. All right. All right, we have Sylvia Oken, the area director of sales and marketing at the Beverly Hills Hotel, is now on the stand. She's a custodial witness for hotel records being admitted as evidence. She's not gonna be in the stand long, y'all. I can tell you that. Because she's gonna be like old Frederique. All right. Who was this? All right. Judge next witness. The government calls Sylvia Oken. Where do you work? Oken, the Beverly Hills Hotel for 17 years. I am the director of sales and marketing. Prosecution. How do reservation work? Oken, a system called Opera. I guess that's Sylvia Oken. Child, no ma'am, no Pam. Let me, no ma'am, no Pam. So they hadn't put anything new up. All right, I'm just checking to see. No, they haven't. That's it. So we're caught up. What time is it? It's 2:53. We are definitely caught up. It's, it's almost if I, it doesn't matter when I start. We catch up really, really quick. But that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Listen, what are you all thinking about? Y'all put it down in the comments. I really would love some interaction with this. What are you all thinking about the what we have went over so far? I will tell you that they are offering the actual transcripts from the um, court reporter, but those suckers are expensive. But they get less expensive as the days go by. So if you've got, I think if you wait 30 days, they will have. So let me see. So they may have like the first weeks of testimony, but from what I looked at, it's like $3 a page. I believe it is. It's $3 a page. But if you want something today within the next couple of hours, it's like $8 and something a page. So paying for transcripts can be expensive, even if you do them electronically. Don't look like they have updated anything. Yeah, all we've got is Miss Sylvia. Hold on. Yeah, that's all we got. I've discussed about this before. One of the things that's interesting to me is the fact that the way that they are what's interesting to me is the way that the prosecution is pulling this information out, because I think that if you're going to call these particular types of witness about from the hotels and stuff, that would have been interesting to call them at the beginning of the case, so that it could already be there. That would have been interesting to me, but they're not. And so let's see. So she's still on the thing. I don't see anything where they are. Because it's technically 3 o'clock. It's technically 3 o'clock, and the judge is liking to get out of to go to 3 o'clock. So they may have wrapped some things up, and they're not back. Well, we're not receiving anything from the courtroom. But anyway, as I was saying, it's always interesting to me in the order of what the order of how they're bringing these witnesses in. And I don't know if it has anything to do with when they can get these witnesses there or not, but the order and how they have these witnesses coming in has always been interesting to me. So the order just always is interesting to me. But so far, and I think I need to pull that up and put these witnesses in my. So in my Google Drive, I'm keeping up with the witnesses that have testified and trying to make sure I add what they testify. So then when we come back, we can definitely so give me, I'll tell you what, since we don't have anything in right now, let's take a 5-minute break, because that'll give me enough time to go to the little girls' room. I will leave you all with some tunes, and then I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Hopefully we'll have enough let's see. I don't want anything all right, I'll be right back. All right. I am back. I am back. I am back. Let's see what we have. So, according to CNN, the jury sees hotel records that list Ventura as an accompanied guest on Combs' reservation. Sylvia Oken, the director of sales and marketing at the Beverly Hills Hotel, said she recalled some reservations made for Sean Diddy Combs under the alias Frank Black. The jury also saw a hotel record that showed Cassie Ventura was listed as an accompanying guest on the reservation. She had full access to the reservation and could change things to the room. All right. So this is what we have. Prosecution. Does Opera link a customer's alias to their real name? Oken, yes. Prosecution. And this one, who is it really? Oken. Sean Combs. Can a guest change his or her alias? Oken, yes. I wonder if they're going to discuss what kind of rider that he had with uh this particular hotel. Because the La Hermitage? I hope I'm saying that correctly. They definitely had a rider for him, and that's what I'm calling it because I don't know anything else to call it. I'm wondering if he had one with the Beverly Hills Hotel. So what they're showing, there is a consistency that he would go to these different hotels under a pseudonym of Frank Black. Because remember, all of his hotel reservations started off with either Sean Combs or Bad Boy Entertainment. And then they started to change to pseudonyms. Excuse me. Pseudonyms like Frank Black. So I am curious to know or to see. I am curious to know or to see if there's anything else, because again, we are at 3 or 4 there, and they usually come out at 3 o'clock, and we're not getting as many updates because usually after they get ready to leave, they're not as quick to put the updates. So let's see who's live. All right, so we're not seeing anything new. Let's see if we can refresh this page. All right. Prosecution. How is it paid for? Oken. It's to a T. Fletcher at Bad Boy, paid by Amex of Sean Combs. Prosecution. What's this? Oken. The folio or bill for room 259. What's this? Oken. A $500 charge for oil damage. This man's been tearing up. This man has been tearing up 4 and 5-star hotels with this oil damage. Oil damage. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm just reading some of the comments up under this. Oh my gosh. His obsession, this is interesting. His obsession with baby oil, applesauce, and being a cuckold makes me wonder if Combs has some mommy issues. Now, the rumor has it is that his mom used to throw these really wild parties back in the day. And they also claim that she possibly was a madam. I don't know. I'm just, these are rumors. And so these types of things, and they've talked about his relationship with his mother as well. They've talked about it in those documentaries, and then people out on the streets have talked about it. I don't know. I don't have anything, but all I know that they were saying that because I even remember when he first started. I remember there was a video and his mother was talking about something. And who was he dating at the time? I think he was dating Kim Porter at the time. And she was making as if there was like some kind of competition being had between her and Kim Porter. Just interesting. All right, let's get over here to CNN. They just updated. Says the jury sees hotel receipts, including a $500 charge for oil damage. The jury saw two bills for Sean Diddy Combs' hotel stay addressed to an alias associated with his guest profile. One of them from May 2015 included a $500 charge for oil damage. Another bill included a $300 charge for cleaning drapes and a fee for going out to pick up 5 candles for Combs. Trial a mess. A mess. All right, y'all. And with that, the Beverly Hills employee is off the stand. The defense team briefly cross examined her, and the prosecution didn't have any questions for redirect. The jury has now been dismissed for the day. All right. So that's the end of today's testimony. So the highlight of it was the defense cross examination of Mia. Again, apparently that they won over a jury, according to CNN, with this cross examination, uh, possibly saying that possibly saying that they didn't believe or find her as credible as they did probably during the first day of prosecution. It's a stretch because again, I don't have all of the transcripts, so and I don't have any information right now coming out of the courtroom, so I'm just waiting for people who are in the courtroom to come out. There are a couple of mainstream reporters that will be reporting probably within the next 20 to 30 minutes. And we'll get that information as it comes out. But right now, no one has come out to talk. And I would play some other people, but like I said, I don't see any news. Let me click over here. That was 2 hours ago. All right, so let's do this. ABC has a. Let me make sure. Hold on. All right, so let's listen to this. This is coming from ABC News, and they posted this about 23 minutes ago. So let's listen to see what their assessment of what's going on.
Cross-examination of Sean Diddy Combs' former assistant continues. Mia, who's testifying under a pseudonym, returned to the witness stand in the music mogul sex trafficking and racketeering trial. Combs' defense team is appearing to suggest that Mia didn't claim that Combs sexually assaulted her until Cassie Ventura filed a civil lawsuit against him. Mia has denied these accusations from Combs' defense team. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges and denies any wrongdoing. Legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer joining me now from outside court there in New York City. Brian, the defense is working hard to portray Mia as an unreliable witness. In your opinion, is it working?
So, yes and no, and I'm sorry to give you the legal answer, Kira, and this is why I say that. I don't think the defense has gotten to a point where we can call Mia an unreliable witness, but I do think they are working towards the idea that some of what she's saying can be questioned. Specifically, they're looking at these allegations and putting them next to these messages that even some days after the alleged sexual assault and rape of Mia by Sean Combs, all the way up until 3.5 years, she's still sending these loving messages. And it's her explanations that I think are raising a few eyebrows as to why she kept doing that. But I think people are starting to say that doesn't quite make sense. But I still do believe, based on what she's saying and how she's reacting, that she is a victim of trauma. So that question mark often favors the defense, but I don't think it's fair, to say that Mia is an unreliable witness.
So Mia testified that she was brainwashed by Combs. Is that testimony helpful to explain the reason she may have sent those loving messages?
If it's helpful to anyone, I think it's probably more helpful for the defense. And I'm just going to quickly read my notes right here because it was somewhat jumbled and confusing. And that's why I think confusion for a victim is helpful to the defense. She said the reason why she was brainwashed, or the meaning of brainwashed to her, was that she was in an environment where the highs were really high and the lows were really low. She couldn't trust her instincts, that she was punished for the work that she'd done, and she worked to get into a good place. And she was trying to just, I guess, trained to react to make sure you keep Sean Combs happy, and if you don't, you get punished and argued. And she was consistently seeking his approval, and that he was the only authority figure that she really knew. And she said that, and that sounded great. But then Brian Steele came back and said, yeah, but you sent these messages 3.5 years after your employment with Sean Combs. You sent messages when Chadwick Boseman had passed away. You sent messages to highlight the anniversary of Kim Porter's death. Why would you still do that when you're no longer in Sean Combs' environment? And she didn't have much of an explanation for that. So again, I think a reliable witness, but raise some eyebrows.
Brian Buckmeyer there in New York for us. Brian, thank you. And make sure to catch our daily show on this trial, Burden of Proof, the case against Diddy. It airs every night, 5:30 Eastern, right here on ABC News Live. Also, you can check out Brian's podcast, Bad Rap, the case against Diddy. You can get daily updates there as well.
Okay. So we've got some inside information from inside of the courtroom. And I'm ecstatic about that because as I was reading that information, it did seem a little, it seemed like the defense was scoring points. So, and I'm glad that we were able to get some information from someone who was actually in the courtroom that we can definitely hear from that. So let's see. And so NBC just reported that Sylvia Oken, area director of sales and marketing at the Beverly Hills Hotel, is on the stand now as the prosecution's next witness. Oken told jurors that Sean Combs used the alias Philip Pines. Hold on, y'all. Need y'all to see this. We got new aliases. New aliases, y'all. Here we go. It says Sylvia Oken, director of sales and marketing at Beverly Hills Hotel, is on the stand for the prosecution's next witness. Oken told jurors that Sean Combs used the alias Philip Pines and Frank Black for hotel reservations. Interesting. We got a new alias. She said it's not uncommon for entertainment industry guests to stay at the hotel under an alias. So we have Frank Black, Frank White, something Lopez, and then we have Philip Pine. So we have four different aliases that Sean Diddy Combs has put out. Interesting. All right, people. We do this every week. We'll be back here tomorrow because I got to go mow my lawn because my neighbors have mowed their lawn, and I don't like my lawn to look any worse than anybody else's. So I'm going to get out here and mow my lawn. So y'all, I'll be back here tomorrow at 12 Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye. See you tomorrow.